People with peanut allergies have reason to rejoice. Today, the FDA approved a first-of-its-kind drug for the treatment of peanut allergies. Experts say the drug's approval could usher in a new era in allergy treatment, and not just for people who are allergic to peanuts. The drug is called Palforzia. It's an oral treatment composed of small, precisely measured and purified doses of peanut powder, which are intended to be mixed into food and eaten daily. The drug isn't a cure, and it's not intended to allow people with peanut allergies to eat peanuts at will. Instead, it's designed to lower a person's sensitivity to peanuts so that accidental exposures are not life-threatening. Peanut allergy affects approximately 1 million children in the US, and only 1 out of 5 of these children will outgrow their allergy. Because there is no cure, allergic individuals must strictly avoid exposure to prevent severe and potentially life-threatening reactions, Dr. Peter Marks, director of the FDA's Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research, said in a statement. Even with strict avoidance, inadvertent exposures can and do occur. When used in conjunction with peanut avoidance, Palforzia provides an FDA-approved treatment option to help reduce the risk of these allergic reactions in children with peanut allergy. While allergists administer the first doses in office, all subsequent doses are taken at home. You start with small doses and build up to larger doses, and the idea is that this makes you be able to tolerate small amounts of the allergen, says Dr. J. Allen Meadows, president of the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology (ACAAI). According to figures presented at the ACAAI's 2017 annual scientific meeting, roughly 2.5% of U.S. kids have a peanut allergy. By some estimates, the number of children with a peanut or tree nut allergy has tripled in recent decades. Experts are still debating why rates of peanut allergies have surged, but they've turned up strong evidence that feeding infants and toddlers foods that contain peanuts dramatically lowers their risk of developing an allergy. While that's a helpful preventive measure, Palforzia is the first FDA-approved treatment for people with a diagnosed peanut allergy. In fact, it's the first drug of any kind that has FDA approval for the treatment of a food allergy. While the current approval is only for kids ages 4 to 17, the FDA may eventually approve Palforzia for adult use. Even young people with severe peanut allergies may be candidates. Taking Palforzia doesn't mean you can go out and eat a Snickers bar, says Meadows, who is a paid consultant to Aimune Therapeutics, the company that makes Palforzia. The idea is that you're able to tolerate small amounts of peanuts so that you don't live in fear of a life-threatening reaction to the trace amounts of peanuts found in many foods. One 2018 clinical trial that included more than 500 kids with peanut allergies found that, after 6 months, 67% of them who took Palforzia were able to swallow a small amount of peanut protein without experiencing moderate or severe allergy symptoms. This was true of just 4% of kids who took a placebo. How does it work? Experts say Palforzia is a form of immunotherapy. With immunotherapy, regardless of the mode of administration, the goal is to try to desensitize the patient to the allergen by inducing tolerance of the immune system, explains Dr. Jonathan Silverberg, an associate professor of dermatology at George Washington University. He says that, for decades, doctors have used immunotherapy to treat pollen, mold, dust, and other common allergens. The hope is that the immune system forgets the allergy, but if not, immunotherapy can help reduce the severity of a patient's reaction, he explains. While immunotherapies have historically taken the form of injections given in a clinic or doctor's office, some allergists have attempted to treat people with peanut allergies by giving them small, regular helpings of peanut powder, which can be purchased in grocery stores. Some have attempted similar techniques in people with egg, milk, or other food allergies, and they've had some success. But this was done without much standardization, he says. It was left up to the art and science of the allergist. Palforzia is the first standardized oral immunotherapy that could be taken outside of an office setting, he adds. And the idea that we can now offer some patients at-home immunotherapy is a game changer. The idea is that you're able to tolerate small amounts of peanuts so that you don't live in fear of a life-threatening reaction to the trace amounts of peanuts found in many foods. He says that millions of people who experience allergies don't have the time, money, or clinic access required for regular in-office allergy shots or other supervised immunotherapy treatments. He predicts that Palforzia will pave the way for oral, at-home therapies for the treatment of other allergies. This could be opening the door to treatment for patients who, right now, have literally no options, he says. Not everyone is enthusiastic about Palforzia. When an FDA advisory committee reviewed the clinical evidence on Palforzia and voted in favor of its approval, that vote was not unanimous. Members of the committee pointed out that some people who took Palforzia experienced life-threatening allergic reactions. In the above study, roughly 1 out of 10 kids who took Palforzia quit midway through the trial because of adverse reactions, including gastrointestinal symptoms, skin reactions, and breathing problems. Few of these adverse reactions were severe. But the drug didn't work for everyone, and nearly all of the young people who tried it experienced mild or moderate side effects. These and related concerns were also raised in a report from the nonprofit Institute for Clinical and Economic Review, which concluded that the current evidence does not conclusively show that the benefits of oral immunotherapy drugs like Palforzia outweigh the risks of a serious adverse reaction. But despite those caveats and concerns, Palforzia will soon be in patients' hands. And plenty of allergists are optimistic about its approval. Not every patient is going to be a good candidate, but I am very excited for this product, says Dr. Sandra Hong, director of the Food Allergy Center at the Cleveland Clinic. I think this will give many children the opportunity to very possibly have an increased quality of life. I think it's a great step forward, and it's been a long time coming, says Dr. Jay Portnoy, an allergist and professor of pediatrics at the University of Missouri-Kansas City School of Medicine. Portnoy was involved in some of Palforzia's clinical research, but he does not receive compensation from its maker Aimmune. He says that, for the past year, he's been using the data from Palforzia trials to treat some of his patients using store-bought peanut flour. And we've had some success, he says. A lot of people can gain a desensitization state where they can eat 1 to 3 peanuts per day without a reaction. Once a person gains that level of desensitization, he says they can often maintain it by eating 2 peanuts a day. And he suspects that some patients on Palforzia will eventually have the option of going off the drug as long as they continue to eat a couple of peanuts each day. How soon will Palforzia be available to the public? I think pretty quickly, Meadows says. I'm under the impression it will be a matter of a few months. He says details regarding cost and insurance coverage remain to be sorted out. Palforzia is not a cure for peanut allergy, he adds. But for the millions of Americans who live in fear that they or a loved one will accidentally eat a life-threatening allergen, Palforzia and drugs like it are a much wished-for breakthrough.